Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Gabriel, and today we're going to do another twin flame energy reading. This is meant to be a timeless reading, so no matter when you find it, no matter where you're at on your journey, there's a message for you here. So, today we're going to be pulling from Love and Light Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue. And we're going to go ahead and just dive in. All right, and the first card is Patience is its own reward. You crown the year with a bountiful harvest. Even the hard pathways overflow with abundance. Psalms 65:11. And really what I feel from this card is just a call for patience and like a patience within your twin flame journey. Patience is one of the 8 keys to harmonious union that Jeff and Shalia mentioned in their book. Twin Flames Finding Your Ultimate Lover. And it's also just very key to have on your journey. Because we do have oftentimes a lot of blocks to heal through in order to be with our twin flame, and even more so to be in perfect union with God, which is the goal, right? The whole purpose of healing your blocks and being on the ascension journey is to ascend. And separation consciousness is very thick on this planet, is very prevalent in our consciousness. So in order to completely root that out, there is a lot of work to be done to really love ourselves and really come into our divine nature, just because there's such a strong belief in separation. In A Course in Miracles and in Twin Flame Ascension School as well, like Jeff and Shalia talked about this, Jesus talks about this in A Course in Miracles. It's really, like we're very far from God in that sense. Like we're not actually far from God. You're never actually separate from God, but we believe that we're separate from God because we made this separation consciousness. And so we have to undo every layer of our consciousness that believes that we're in any way separate from God. And if you think about where you're at and how you might feel, like, oh, it may feel like God is a man in the sky. It may feel like, oh, God's a force that acts in my life, but I'm not one with God, right? All of that is, separation consciousness that we're peeling back and really coming to the understanding that we're an energy, we're an expression, we're a child of God. And, that's a lot to heal. And you can't expect yourself to heal it all in one sitting. You can't expect to heal it all in a year. And you may come into your harmonious union with your twin flame relatively quickly in a couple months, in a couple years, depending on, your journey, what you have to heal, and how diligently you are moving through your blocks. But regardless, patience is always so key, because you want to be patient with yourself when you're moving through particularly difficult blocks to move through. If you have, deeper, like these deep core wounds and traumas, you want to be very patient with yourself as you're moving through those things. Because time isn't real, and you really have eternity to move through all of this. But you want to be very gentle with yourself. If you're not patient with yourself, you actually end up hindering your progress rather than aiding it, because you'll end up being hard on yourself, or you'll get frustrated and feel like you're wanting to quit because you're not seeing results fast enough. And it's really not about the outer result. It really is about that inner peace that you're cultivating within, relaxing into your divine state and really cultivating that divine love. So have patience for yourself, and patience is its own reward, because you'll have more peace from that patience. All right, and the next card is Speak Words of Love. Be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power, Ephesians 6:10. And what came up immediately for me here is that you want to be very clear about what you speak and what you say. Words have power. I'll never forget, there was one time that I was actually, I was doing something and I basically said, oh, I can't do it. Like, and that was just kind of like it was just kind of like almost a default saying. Like, I think I was running for a ball or I was doing something and I was like, oh, I can't do that. And I remember Jeff said to me like, that's an affirmation. And it really kind of took me back, and it was like, oh, like, yeah, like I'm basically telling myself in that moment, like, I can't do it. Like, I can't do it. Oh, that's a affirmation. And you want to be careful about how you say these things. Instead of, believing that you can't do things, instead of saying I can't do things, you want to really affirm what you desire. Like, I can do this. I do have the potential for this. And at first, when I was doing affirmations like that, it almost felt like I was lying to myself. Oh, well, I can do that. And I just felt like, well, I can't do it currently. I'm not very good at sports, or I'm not very good at this or that. And you want, if that is challenging for you, I found a TikTok one time that said, what about affirmations? Well, what if I could? What if I can? What if I can do this? What if I can do that? And that really was kind of a great stepping stone for me to really come into, like, yes, I am divine, or yes, I am love. Yes, I can do this. Like, what if I am lovable? Because that kind of opens the door to start questioning those doubts. Well, what if I am lovable? What if I can do this? And then you can move towards, well, I can do that. Yes, I can. You want to focus on what you want rather than what you don't want. And be careful about the words you use, because those have an impact on your psyche. Those have an impact on how you feel inside. You don't even want to joke about putting yourself down. Self-deprecating humor aside, like, that can be funny, like, but you want to be careful about how you approach that. You can, like, poke fun and stuff like that, but you want to be careful not to put yourself down. You're a child of God. Even a joke, you want to be very careful about how you word that. You want to be very careful about how you do those things, because those words have power. Those words are part of your consciousness, and you want to get rid of things that are not serving you, and doubts and negative beliefs about yourself. Even a joke, like you don't really know the difference when you say that. Like, you're still feeling that on the inside somewhere, right? A lot of times comedians, will say things about themselves that are so horrible, and then you find out that they're, like, very depressed and things like that. And oftentimes it's because, like, there is, like, a depression that's going on within them. And it's like, the more you relate to that, the more you, like, use your sorrow and, like, make fun of it, it doesn't actually go away until you learn to love yourself in that space. You can't just laugh at it. You have to heal it. So be very careful about the words that you're saying, the things that you're speaking into life, because your words have manifestation powers. All right, and the next card, move boldly into a golden future. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. Proverbs 3:5-6. I love this. This is, like, the photo that they always use for Archangel Gabriel, who I took my name from. And really what this feels like is go forward with God. And, like, it really ties into me with the Bible verse, but move boldly into a golden future really kind of means, like, take that leap of faith. Take that leap of faith with God each step of your journey. And some leaps are going to be bigger than others. Some paths are going to feel a little bit rockier than others. But God has always got your back. God is always going to be there for you when you move with him. When I've made decisions because I felt like I needed to do something, like if I took a job even though it felt bad because, I have to do this for money, I have to survive, versus, I manifested a job that's perfect for me because I did it with God, those two things felt completely different in my life. One felt very heavy and bad the whole time, really, because it's like I couldn't get past the fact that I kind of did it without God, versus when I did it with God, oh, this feels really good. And even when things feel challenging, I know that my abundance, my life, my joy comes from God rather than this job. Or in another example, like if God is asking you to take a leap of faith and invest in something, um, you might feel like, well, I don't know if I have the money for this. I don't know if I can afford this, and really, this seems like too much for me. If you take that leap of faith where God is calling you to take a leap of faith, God is going to support you. You may not see how, but a lot of times if you say like, oh, like God is guiding me to go to the movies, for example, and it seems kind of frivolous, right? It's like, oh, I don't have to go to a movie, but maybe that's what your soul is calling for. Maybe your soul really needs to just go to a movie and it have this playtime, and you do that, and then suddenly maybe if you have your own business, maybe you have another client, maybe you get a raise at work, maybe you get a bonus because you're doing so well. Like, you really have to look at investing in yourself as something that's very supported by God. God wants you to love yourself. God does not want you to deprive yourself. And that doesn't mean go out and buy something like way beyond your means, but it does mean to trust God and trust where God is guiding you to invest in yourself and in your journey. So if you're being guided to invest in classes, if you're being guided to invest in Jeff and Shalia's book or anything like that, if you feel that in your heart, God is going to support you in doing that. There's always going to be something in some way that God is going to support you. So you take that bold step and God comes to meet you and will, support you every step of the way. You just have to have that faith. All right, the next card. Yep, follow the path that's right for you. God blesses those who patiently endure testing and temptation. Look, that's the whole reading right there. Follow the path that's right for you. God is always giving you your next steps, and you will not get another step until you take that next step. If you're like, oh, I think God's guiding me over here, but I don't want to do that. God, give me another step. God's not going to give you that next step until you follow the path that God wants you to follow. You're not going to pout your way out of God's, guidance and way for you. It's always going to be God's way. God is infinitely more patient than we are. God is infinitely more self-aware, and how do I say this? Like, you're not going to win in a battle of like stubbornness and unwillingness to bend. God is very patient. God is very gentle and waiting. And while he wants his children to come home and really like awaken to their true divinity and their love and be with him in like the full capacity, he's not going to give ego an inch. He's not going to cater to your ego or your pouting or anything like that. If God is showing you a way, you have to surrender to the God's way. And so you follow the path that's right for you, the path that God's leading you down, and know that God isn't leading you anywhere that like you can't handle. God isn't leading you anywhere that you're going to be miserable. It can feel like that sometimes. Ego especially will try to make you feel like that path is going to be horrible. But often it's really like the path that we're already on with ego that's actually making us feel that way. You might feel like, oh, well, if I go and take this job, or if I live my life purpose, God won't pay me. I'll have to be poor, and I'll have to work really hard and be poor. And really it's like, oh, I'm working in a 9-to-5 that I work really hard and I'm still poor, and I have to work to make someone else rich rather than myself, right? So know that God is leading you to your highest good and your highest joy. And anywhere you feel otherwise, it's just a place to look and really love yourself in that space. All right, and the last card for today, almost said tonight, it is nighttime right now. Embrace adventure in your life. Jesus said, "For the kingdom of heaven belongs to those who are like these children." This is like a different version of the Bible than what I'm familiar with, but anyway, Matthew 19:14. But yeah, it's really like embracing your journey with God, embracing the joy that is in your life and is on your journey. A lot of times on the twin flame journey, we're like, where's my twin flame? I just want to get there. And I was there too. I was one of those people that I was like, I just want to get there as fast as possible. And there is some merit to that, of wanting to be with God as quickly as possible, wanting to move through your blocks as quickly as possible, but you want to enjoy the journey along the way. You do not want to be miserable, make yourself miserable trying to get some result, because you're not actually healing in that case. You're just trying to control rather than love yourself genuinely and watching your life improve little by little, organically as you heal, and you just experience more and more joy and more peace. And then from that place, your twin flame will come to you. From that place, you'll be able to manifest everything that you desire in the right time. And you'll find that when you do it with God, it's not actually slow. It's our resistance to doing God's way that makes it slow. We think, oh, it has to be this way. It has to look like this. And when we attach ourselves to how that looks, that's when we get ourselves in trouble. That's when it's like, oh, I'm not getting anywhere. Like, I'm just not seeing anything. And it's usually because we've attached to something in some way, either how something is supposed to happen, how we think something is supposed to happen, when it's supposed to happen, who it's supposed to happen with. We get attached to those things, and God's like, I can't give it to you until you really surrender and let go and just focus on loving yourself. And so, embrace that adventure, embrace your journey. Don't look at it as like, well, I'm just wasting time. Like, every step on your journey is important to you being able to sustain your union. You can't skip over a lesson, because if you do and you don't actually learn the lesson, you're going to have to go back and repeat it. You can't actually skip it. So enjoy your journey, learn your lessons, and know that it is for your highest good. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. If you'd like support on your twin flame journey, maybe you want your own card reading to see what's going on in your energy, or maybe you want one-on-one support to help you through your blocks and into harmonious union, you can find my services at sacredtwinflameunion.com, and I will see you all in the next video.